right, Trey. How you doing today?
Doing pretty good, man.
All right, good
How
stuff.
about you?
I'm doing really well. I've wanted to do this interview with you for a while. You're definitely one of, I would say you probably are my most successful client right now. You've lost, you're saying over 40 pounds right now?
Actually, it's a little over 50.
It's a little over 50. Golly, my goodness. And it's only been 4 months, right?
Yeah, I feel like maybe by the end of this month, I'm kind of averaging about 10 pounds a month.
Yeah,
if
exactly.
I keep it the same pace.
Yeah, so over 2 pounds so 2.5 pounds every single week would be the average.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's incredible. That's definitely by far and above average pace. Most people dream, I feel of having that pace, but to actually do it and maintain it for as long as you had is extraordinary. So yeah, tell me a little bit about some of the things you've been doing. I mean, one of the big things is you stick to the meal plan pretty rigidly, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think just kind of like a mindset shift a little bit. I've kind of been up and down my weight over the years, and some things nothing really has really stuck much up to this point. I mean, I've learned along the way different things, so I don't want to discount some of the experience I've had before going up and down, but I think just really shifting a new mindset this year and just wanted to kind of see areas that I can improve and be more consistent in. And I think this was just a big thing for me. And so I just kind of, a lot of times too, with goals for me, I just kind of get tunnel vision in a way. So I just kind of keep my foot on the gas, so to speak. So that's kind of been what's helping me stick to the meal plan and exercise and things like that.
What do you typically eat? Like fruit, vegetables? Do you mix it up a good bit, or do you have your favorite things that you stick to mostly?
I mean, I pretty much eat the same kind of stuff, but it's just a matter of, some variety here and there. I do a lot of chicken for sure.
Okay. Chicken thighs, chicken breasts?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
Yeah, mixture. I like to do lean stuff too, so lean chicken and turkey. I wasn't really a big fan of turkey for years just because I guess, you typically have it once a year, and that style of it wasn't really for me, but I found ground turkey to be really good. Lean, that source, and then vegetables too. Try to mix it up, different things like Brussels sprouts, sweet potatoes, beans. Different green vegetables too. Just try to mix it up too with that, so I don't get too bored.
Yeah, perfect. Do you use different types of seasoning blends too and whatnot?
Yeah, definitely. I try to use different dry seasonings. I think we talked about that kind of in the beginning too.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Just kind of getting away from some of the sauces and things. Which I was never someone to douse everything, and I wasn't ordering a salad and it's not floating in ranch or anything like that. But, so it wasn't that hard of a transition, but just using different dry seasonings and just I don't know, just trying different things, just kind of seeing what you like. That's kind of been big for me.
Do you buy the pre-made seasoning blends, or do you make some of your own?
Yeah, usually pre-made.
Okay, that's what I do.
Garlic ones or different rubs too. Try different things like chicken, and every now and then I'll have maybe lean pork too. So just try different dry rubs on there.
Gotcha.
So that's kind of how I get away from all the sauces and things.
Yeah, will you add that to both your protein and to your veggies?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Gotcha.
And veggies, usually in the oven kind of thing. Occasionally use the air fryer, but mostly baked.
Nice.
That's usually how I do my stuff.
Good stuff.
And I do a lot of eggs too, for people who struggle figuring out what to eat for breakfast.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of cool too, because the way we're doing it, 8 or 9 ounces of whatever meat source or whatever. In the morning is nice just to, because eggs kind of weigh around the same amount depending on the size, but I find a lot of times I can just do 4 eggs, and that will get me to where I need to be. It's simple.
Okay, perfect. And to also expand a little bit more on your exercise regimen. How's that been?
It's been good. Just really being consistent with that, and finding things that are healthy too. Because in the past, I would kind of like one way or the other type of mentality. Like if I didn't, kill myself during the week doing like, you know, pretty much every day without stopping, I would feel like I wasn't doing the right things. And then if I would miss a couple of days, I'd be like, I want to throw away the whole week. And then
Yeah.
it compounds that way too, because then like you end up doing the same thing like the next week. You just end up building up negative habits. So instead of just like being super rigid, I still exercise a lot each week. I usually do like 5 to 6 days, but like last week, for instance, it was kind of a rough week, and I was only able to do 3 days. But it wasn't like, oh, I can't do those 3 days. I missed these couple days here and there. I might as well just throw the whole week away. This time I was like, this year I just focused on like just being consistent, not like throwing it away.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect thing you thought it was going to be,
Yeah, exactly. That those demons talking to us, right? That cause us to just, one little mess up and then we completely go off board, right? Yeah, I tell you, it's like, the reason why, we might have gained weight, gotten heavy to begin with, it's not because we made a little mistake. It's actually because when we made that little mistake, we allowed ourselves to sacrifice everything. That led to binge eating. That led to like doing nothing for weeks on. It's like that's why we were overweight. It wasn't the little mistake. A little mistake or a sluggish day where you missed an exercise. That's not a big deal, right? As long as you get right back onto it the next day.
Yeah, that was my biggest shift I think I've made. This like got me to this point so far this year.
Yeah.
That's definitely the biggest one.
Yeah.
Putting that in perspective too, because it's like you want to make sure it's sustainable for life too.
Yeah.
And you don't if it's not sustainable, you're not going to be able to keep it up. So that's kind of like what's been helping me.
Yeah, exactly. That's beautiful, man. And one of the things I loved that you told me that, I'll talk to my other clients about you and what you've been able to do. You don't let yourself off the hook if you make a little mistake too. Or if you know that you're going to be eating out with friends, right? Something. You'll have a bit less food in that day leading up to that. Right. Then what you get there, it usually sounds like it's very moderate. Like you said, you got wings a couple times. I said, how many wings did you get? And you're like, 5, and they were like grilled or something. Like it really wasn't that bad anyways. And then you accounted for it with your meal plan. And then also on top of that, you exercise a lot before and after it. Because I think a really cool thing with you is how you'd say you want your weight to be down every single day. You step on the scale every day and you want it to be lower every single day. And then by the end of the week, when you send me away, and it's always this huge number, because day after day after day, it had been going down, and it's like no wonder it's like 3 pounds came off.
Yeah, I think just that's kind of been big just for keep myself accountable too. Because of course you gotta manage what you're gonna do once you leave. Once you leave here, you know what I mean. Like I kind of treat it like when you're in school or maybe you're in college or something like that. Like you have a lecture and then you gotta go execute at home. Like if you have homework or you gotta write a paper or something like that. Like you gotta take what you learned and then like apply it. When you leave, whatever that space is. So that's kind of like what I've kind of been doing with this as well. Kind of having that mentality that I gotta do what I learned here and apply it at home.
Yes, exactly, man. No, I love that. I just think it shows so much initiative. Like I had a client recently, and we for whatever reason we weren't able to meet up with one of our scheduled workouts that week, and he asked me to send him a workout, and he went to the gym and did it and everything, and I was just like, man, the fact that you did that you asked for that workout and that you went home and you did do it, that's huge, Right. Even more than the sheer number of calories you might have burned in that workout or muscle you might have built. I think mentality-wise, the fact that he asked to do that and followed through with it, and I think mentality-wise for you, like once again, the fact when you have an event coming up or something like that you plan accordingly for it, right? I mean, I feel like a lot of people, they see that and they're like, oh, this is an opportunity for me to not follow the meal plan, and I have a free pass, right? Because Cole told me that, it doesn't have to be super rigid. You can do a little bit of that here and there, and you'll still lose weight at the end of the week if you're following the meal plan all the other days. And it's like, yeah, yes, that is true, but sometimes you give people an inch in their minds meant like that, and they take a mile.
Yeah,
and any little event that comes up, they're like, oh, this is a feast, right? It's like, I didn't say feast, right? I said it's okay if you're, if we fall off track just a little bit, but yeah, I just think that's how I describe it to people. It's like, you don't let yourself off the hook, because and you see it for, I feel like, the result you want, which is you want the scale to be lower. I feel like people, sometimes they can approach it from this place where they're like, okay, what are all the guidelines I need to fill, right? But it's almost like losing the weight doesn't become the main focus. They're like, okay, I'm going to follow this strict diet or this strict workout regimen, and I'm going to stay within these guardrails, right? But then I feel like they choke when it comes to actually taking the actions to lose the weight, because they almost lose sight of that. They get, I just feel like, in this mindset of feeling constrained by the guardrails that they put up for themselves, wanting to break those guardrails, and that becomes the back and forth in their mind, instead of, look, I know I need to eat leaner, I have a conscientious portion size, I need to move more to lose weight, and losing weight is my key focus, not breaking these rules. Does that make sense at all? I mean, does that resonate?
Absolutely.
To you? Yeah.
That's, one of the things I had to kind of not get caught up in as well, like, super rigid, like you said, the guardrails, and then like you said, you kind of end up making excuses when there's maybe there's a minor inconvenience, or maybe there's something that wasn't planned, or maybe there's an event, like you said, then it kind of opens up the floodgates a little bit.
Yeah.
And then you kind of just fall off track. So, but if you you make it your own and kind of like figure out, here's how I can be most effective with what I'm working with, my body, mind, or whatever, like that's when you can kind of push through different setbacks, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's why I feel like it's like the guardrails end up superseding the goal, which is the way, the adherence to the ketogenic diet becomes more important than my goal, which was to lose weight from the ketogenic diet, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, I just think that's like, you have like a laser focus on wanting to lose weight, and and that was healthy for you. And I think another thing I wanted to talk about is, when you called me, Trey, you were pretty heavy. You were what, 165? Were we up to 170 even, or?
You mean when I first called you?
When you first called me, yeah.
She was about 100 pounds more than that. I was really...
No, sorry. 270.
Yeah, I was about 270.
Yeah, 270, yeah.
Oh, no.
But then you told me, it's like, you're like looking for a job right now, so you're not sure you can afford it. And I told you, I was like, look, 270, that's pretty heavy. I said, job or no job, your money's well spent here. And that was my firm belief, and you followed through with it. And I just think, one, I mean, you can say for yourself, right? Was it a good investment for yourself?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. I was telling you, I think last week too, like, it's important to really research and find a person who's credible, knows what they're doing, and like has the results. Like, that was big for me, and that's what I found here. That was something that was very important. And I knew, like, from the first session how, like, seriously you took your craft and everything, and like the results you get with people, and kind of like the science behind nutrition and weight loss and things, and it became obvious that, like, it's a good, there's like, there are formulas you can really follow to reach your goals, because before, like, you have your guardrails, but you're still kind of in the dark a little bit. It's not, because like you said, you can make it more simple than it has to be. I feel like you were able to do that, and that's something that I valued, and that's why it's been able to work the way that it has. You know what I mean? Yeah,
I mean, people, they're just looking for any excuse not to find out. I think they know, if I get a personal trainer, I'm gonna have to work hard, and it's just, I mean, it's just like the food. Any excuse to go off from the nutrition plan, any excuse to not start up. But it's like, here you are, you didn't even have a job, and you still invested the money in your health. You know, there are people out there, they have jobs, but they just like, I don't know, being able to, like, I had a client in the past, she had to stop training because she had 3 different car payments. You know, and it's just her and her husband. It's like, why do you have a third car? And what did she give? And on top of a camper too. So we're talking like 4, you know. And what did she give up? Personal training, you know, over all those car payments, you know, because you know. So I just think like that's another thing that just showed a ton of initiative on your part. And then I think it's also critical, like just the stressful time you've been going through with the job hunt. That would be something that so many other people, they would use that as excuse. I mean, that's a really stressful thing. Hunting for a job, that is prime excuse territory for eating whatever we want, you know. And you've done the opposite, you know, during a stressful time. You haven't used that as a valid excuse, and you've kept losing weight through it, you know.
Yeah, I think you just kind of get to a point where you kind of like want to stop making having the excuses for yourself.
Yeah.
Cause you know, you're human. It's easy to fall into that kind of trap. But I don't know. I just wanted to like really prioritize my health because that's like the most really important thing we can do for ourselves, and that's something I'm starting to realize as I get older. You know, like you might be able to bounce back like in the past. Maybe you're younger because I've kind of gone back and forth. Like I would lose weight and then come back. You know what I mean? Like lose weight and put it back on, and I don't know. Like I'm young still at the same time. Like you don't know how many times your body can handle that. So
yeah,
one of my big goals too was like not wanting to be young and be on medication and things like that. So
yeah,
you know, I was like, I did not want to go down that road, and I was like, I gotta really stick to something I can do for life, so I don't have to have complications, you know, that result from bad health and other things like that, you know.
Yeah, exactly, man. And yeah, I mean, one of the things that we, you know, said in the beginning too, like, because I know that, like, you know, affordability was probably going to be part of the issue. But I said, dude, just train with me 1 day a week. And even from that, 1 day a week, you know, us like I think people downplay how much improvement you can make by getting in one really solid workout in week after week after week after week consistently, you know. They just think, oh, 1 day a week, you can't do anything now. It's like, look, I would love if everyone could train with me 3 days a week, you know. But you know, for some people, that's not feasible. But you know, I just tell them, it's like, I have plenty of clients that train with me 1 day a week. They get tons of results from that. And you know, it's having somebody that's walking with you, I feel like, every step of the way through your nutrition, that can encourage you while you're doing well, give you tips, you know, if you fall off, you know, doing those weekly weigh-ins and check-ins, and then just making sure, yeah, like I said, you have that one really great workout in every week where you also learn stuff, and then you apply it to your own workouts as well. It's like, you can gain a lot just from that right there, right?
Yeah, I would definitely encourage like people to you know, consider, even if they can't, like you said, they can't do 3 days a week or whatever it is, just to at least be able to train with you once a week. Just because it really, like you said, helps build those habits and things you can take away with you. And yeah, just kind of shifts your focus to, you know, I told you like it was like one way or the other for me before. Yeah. So, you know, I feel like taking that, you know, pulling yourself out of your comfort zone a little bit with that, like, oh, you know, maybe it's not your most ideal scenario in the world. Maybe you want to train more than that, but you can do this once a week, and then, you know, maybe you do cardio at home, maybe you can lift at home, and maybe you can go for walks. You know what I mean? Your free time, and it just kind of like snowballs in like a positive way.
Yeah, perfect. And then one other thing I want to ask you about, you know, we talk about all the excuses in our heads and things like that. You know, I'm a Christian man, you're a Christian man. I mean, do you feel like you know, you've been throwing off some demons, you know, some of those like voices in your head that were whispering these lies into your head before and causing you to engage in behavior you didn't want to, and then, you know, those started to quiet a bit, you know? Did you find that?
Yeah, definitely. It's, it can be scary for sure. I think if you're consistent with it, little by little, you kind of see some of that like kind of back off a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things you just gotta realize it's not gonna be overnight.
Yeah.
It takes a while to build good habits.
Yeah.
And because like you said, it's something you want to do for life, and it really can help with your mental health too. Like just having that time to, and takes your focus away from those things too. Like focus on a goal or a movement or something like that can really shift your focus. And then by the end of a training session, like you feel a lot better, and you still might have some of those issues you're dealing with, but they might not feel as big. And then you just keep taking little baby steps, and it really helps.
Yeah, just one step in front of you after the next, and it's amazing how quickly you end up somewhere great. Yeah. No, it's been a pleasure having you, Trey. Seriously, I mean, yeah, you've done an incredible job, and in some ways it felt like a long time, but in other ways it doesn't feel like it was very long, right?
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you too, like all the, guidance and support and everything with the meal plan, and also just in general, like, it's not like you're just like taking money and not trying to help people. Like, you really want to build that relationship with your clients, which I can speak to firsthand. And even if it was like a rough week with me or something like that, or maybe I was dealing with something, I could, we could have those kind of discussions, and bounce ideas off of you and things like that. So it's not like I never had the feeling like, this person doesn't care. He's just all about like his business, which is important. Obviously, you got to eat, but you also care too. So that's a big separator.
Thank you, man. Well, I think this really went well, and I'm looking forward to more success into the future. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm happy that I've gotten this far, but of course, I want to keep my foot on the gas. So keep got more goals across. So yeah, I appreciate you.
Love it, man. All right.
Thank you,
sir.
Appreciate you.
All right. Let's see how that turned out. That looks great.